Alert weather team meteorologist, Andy Provenzano. Hi, Andy.
How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm glad. I catch you on Facebook all the time.
Well, you know, I watch you all the time too, and I count on you. We're pretty lucky, I think, in this market to have the weather team that you guys have assembled. At
Yeah, we've got good guys. A couple fresh out of college within the past 5-7 years. Then Darren, who's been around a long time, myself, and so you blend the new with the old, and it's a good combination. Yeah.
Well, you've got a lot of years into it. I was adding it all up. 43 years. 43 years.
It's amazing you can start this industry when you're 10. You know.
Yes. Well, I know the question you get every day, all the time, every day, all day long, is what's weather? What's weather, right?
Yeah, I tell the kid when I go into school visits, I always tell the kids, I ask them, how many people take a test? And they all raise their hands. And I say, hey, I take a test every day. And they go, oh, no. I go, it's the same question. What's the weather going to be tomorrow? When I wake up, I'm graded. I know exactly if I hit it good or it's not going to be such a good day.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not a straight A week for you.
Yeah, you know, I don't think we're ever going to totally be able to handle Mother Nature and know all the things. The biggest problem is changes in weather in a short period of distance, a lot. So you would need observations so close to one another so you could pick up on that. If you had that, it'd be maybe 90%. I think most of the time we're 80%, I would think would be a good guess of correction. But when you don't have all those observations, and we've added a lot through the decades, things can change dramatically, especially in severe weather.
Well, having been here nearly half a century, you've got your personal historical knowledge of our climate, of our weather, and that's going to help. I think that's, you know, it's a benefit for us, the citizens that live here in your viewing area, that we have that knowledge, that institutional knowledge that
well, what's the best way to learn? Maybe you do it wrong the first time, right? So I've learned over the years, you know, when a certain weather pattern is this way, don't bite on what they're telling you it is. It's not going to be what it's going to be. Remember what that happened last time. So I use that a lot in my weather forecasting. I bring that out. I'll talk about it. You know, this is not a situation where this is going to happen easily, or we just can't clear these clouds. So a lot of that is from all those years, yeah.
Last week, I heard you say on, I think Friday, that we are not going to see 80 degrees the rest of this month.
Right.
Is that true? Is that still true?
Yeah, that's true. And it may take a little while into June, unfortunately, too. We've had a lot of them. I mean, we just had a couple last week that were mid-80s, so that was pretty good. But I think those cool pattern that's all this week. Today's probably the best day of the week. As some sun is out there right now, we're headed into the low 60s, because each day the rest of the week has got a chance of a shower sometime during the day, and mainly in the 50s. And we go into the Memorial Weekend with maybe the threat of a couple of showers too.
I think because we've seen such change in the weather, more severe storms, stronger winds, it's been proven. We really are seeing the results of climate change.
Yeah, we are, you know, which it goes back with climate is weather history. It's what everything we've recorded. I still do it every day. What was the high, what was the low, go all the way back. So it's climate history, and we do see these trends. Obviously, if you have a record book and then you had a day that was 90 degrees in April, you have a record back there that says, oh, there was one that was 91, you know, in 1905 or something. So it keeps fluctuating, and we are certainly on a high. I think we also have the trend of knowing weather across the world faster than we've ever had it. We can watch tornadoes form out of clouds down in Arkansas while it's going on. Where it used to be when you heard about these super high temperatures out west, it came via paper, maybe a news story a day later, 2 days later, those kind of things. So we're so on top of the weather, we hear about all the bad stuff that's constantly being out there. And obviously media is out when the bad weather is. They don't go show people laying on the beach. They show people being blown off the beach. So you get a little more of that, but it's cyclical, and the sun is really amazing. For all the years that I've been forecasting, I've always kept a good eye on the sun for solar flares, things like that. Mm-hmm. And you get the spots on the sun, and that really kind of trends with whether temperatures are going to be higher or lower. We have a high sunspot cycle right now, and that trends with higher temperatures, although the summer's not looking as hot. So,
No.
yeah.
Well, one of the things I think we all realized last Thursday night when these really bad storms
Yeah.
rolled through was how valuable it is to have, essentially our own weather team, First Alert weather team, monitoring, and you were wall to wall.
Right.
We can't, we all have radar, but we can't read it.
Right, exactly. Or know what's coming together when to, to be able to say, hey, in 30 minutes from now, this is what's going on. And I tell a story on occasion. When I first started, and I was in the Upper Peninsula, and we had bad storms. And I remember there was one fatality down in Escanaba. And I was on the air that night talking about bad storms. And back then, we didn't have a whole lot of things we could show folks. But we did have a radar that we tied into the was the airport across the street. So they fed the radar to us. But I remember talking about bad storms in Escanaba, and then I was talking to a state trooper that night, and the one fatality was somebody in an RV parked under a tree that fell on him, and they were watching our station.
Oh.
So that's always stuck with me when I do severe weather. Most people complain because it's not in their neighborhood, right? I get that. We try to point out the neighborhoods like this past storm system. I said, hey, Jackson, we haven't left you out. There's good news. You're not there going on right now. So that's why we're up north. But eventually we had to talk about Jackson having storms too. So all of that is a reminder that somebody's under the gun. Somebody is going to, lose a roof, hopefully no injuries, get their car dented, or be without power. They're still without power in Lansing in many areas. I mean, I get it back till the end of this week. So I take all that into consideration when we're on just continually. It's because there's a reason for it. So.
Yeah, and you can watch The Voice on demand some other time, but
Right.
the weather doesn't wait.
No. I mean, and last week was, boy, I remember it was early evening or after the 6 o'clock, and I was watching these storms come out of Wisconsin where they had a lot of tornadoes. And there was a huge circulation right over the center of Lake Michigan. And I'm thinking, there's a water spout. It's got to be a water spout. That circulation kind of weakened and then came on shore in Holland. It went through the Holland State Park, right on shore there, and then kept going inland, then kind of disappeared and then came back again. And now all of a sudden it's in Charlotte. And it's headed towards Lansing. And another one down, it went down even into the northwest parts of Jackson County. There was a whole bunch of bad weather. So you watch these things, and I think that's the feature for us being on the air, is being able to show you where it's at, where it's going to be headed, telling people when to take cover. A couple of people told me last week, when you said take cover in Lansing, we did, and when we came upstairs, it was bad. And so yeah, it's an active night, but we do the best we can.
Well, here it is. Mid-May, we've already had, as you reported, 25 tornadoes in the state of Michigan this year alone.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And both outbreaks, the past one and one about a month prior to that, were multiples. They were little spin-ups everywhere, and there was 10, 11, 12. You have to go back and look at all of those, and I think there's some areas where the weather surface didn't get to that could have been little tornadoes spinning out. But they're high winds, 100 miles an hour or greater. That's pretty strong for us. This has been an active spring season. I think it still will be, especially down south. They've had bad weather. We're having a hard time jumping into the summer pattern. So the spring's going to probably come back as being slightly below normal, and then summer may start right at normal. If you're looking for the big break, we've had all these big breaks every spring. All of a sudden it's hot. Everybody head to the beach and we're good. This is not the case this year. We had a great start to May. Now it's downhill.
So more severe weather, it's possible.
Yeah, when you mix warmth with the cold, it happens every time.
When one of the times you've been on JTV was on Food Circus. You have a love of food, and in particular Italian food.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand you're going to Italy later this year.
Yeah, we're trying to get people together to go to Italy in October. We've done it before with our viewers. It really is so much fun. I can't tell you how many friends I've gathered up with all these trips we've done, especially in Jackson, still in contact with them. And we get a good variety across mid-Michigan. It's always so much fun because you get to mingle with everybody, and I learn so much. A lot of times they'll say, hey, don't do that. We just did that. That's going to be too expensive. Go do it. I'm like, oh, thank you. We find out a lot of things.
This has got to be a great year to visit Italy with all the attention on the new Pope.
Right, and then Rome celebrates with their 500th Jubilee, I think it is, something like that. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Tuscany is north of all of that. See a lot of great old churches, a lot of countryside, and a lot of that kind of stuff. A lot of eating, a lot of drinking, a lot of wine.
Oh, that's what the people want to go to Italy for.
Exactly, yeah. And then when we stay in Cinque Terre, which is all those homes you see that are built in the mountainside, right on the Mediterranean. It's like, how did they even do that? And they're all multicolors, and there'll be 2 nights we get to stay there, and that's exciting.
Is that your favorite place to go?
That is,
Yeah.
yeah. The water combined with all these restaurants and all these old villas that are all just carved into the hillside. That's a good place.
Last week, I think you were on Studio 10 and opened up the lines to do a live Q&A with viewers. Did you get anything that was unexpected in terms of questions?
No, usually they're comments, kind of question comments. There's always one you don't expect. I'm trying to think what it was, but usually everybody's pretty nice, maybe commenting on, it's just like when you talk about bad snow coming, and all of a sudden you've got 50 hits and questions and comments, and you look at, what about Jackson? What about how much snow are we going to get? So they're weather-related questions, which I always said, if people don't come and ask me what the weather is, I'm not doing my job, right? If they've lost touch, maybe they don't know who I am, because that's what I do. So doctors get it, teachers get it. How many times does a teacher going through the grocery store run into ex-pupils or parents or so?
Yeah, so the question I get when people run into me at the store is, when are you going to retire? That's what I'm getting lately.
I do too.
Do you get that too?
Yes, yeah. And then I say, why does it look like I should? Be honest. Should I depart?
I mean, really, it's like all of a sudden the last couple of years, it's like, Well, you're younger than me, so I'll tell you what, when I get close to having a good answer for that, I'll let you know.
Yeah, well, my response has always been fun. If you said to me, when are you going to retire? I'd say, you need money for that, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the case.
Well, I hope it's a long time away because, one of the things that's happening, as you know, in local television all over this country, meteorologists, the local on-site, in-station weather person is being cut.
Yeah.
And the Byron Allen stations, for example.
They did that. For some of them they brought back, and that's a consideration. I think we have not been able to restore a lot of people that have gone on to other jobs or retirement, where maybe you now hire back one person to do 2 jobs, and that's just the nature of broadcasting right now. They haven't said anything to us about weather, but someday there'll be an AI version of me somewhere, I'm sure, pointing to a weather map. So it hasn't happened yet, but you're right. When they look at, hey, we got to cut back. The thing about broadcasting, as you well know, they're not owned by broadcasters, right?
Right.
You are. But most companies are people that never have even got on TV. So they're looking at the bottom lines. Are we good? Are we bad? How can we make more money? The trend right now is to add more sports. That's where they're making money. They're putting ball games on the air. I think there's 20 Tiger games on the CBS or the Fox station in Detroit. We have purchased basketball down in Atlanta on some of our local affiliates down there. So that's been the trend, and that getting away from, the number one thing people watch the news for is the weather forecast. But it's cyclical, and we'll just wait it out.
Yeah, and if the weather's great, it's a beautiful sunny day, like a San Diego day, it's like you don't pay attention, but when it's bad, you need it.
Yeah, and it changes so fast in this state. I know everybody says that, wait 5 minutes and it'll change, but we do. You bring the sun out and all of a sudden it's 70 degrees, like over the weekend. I didn't know what to wear, the sweater, the sun came out and all of a sudden I'm hot, and then so we get that, and we get bad weather because of that, or we'll end up having a gorgeous day and all of a sudden a line of storms come through. So it changes a lot.
Well, next year I think you'll see more sports on Channel 10. You'll have the NBA.
Yep.
So you'll be up later.
Yep, NBA's coming. Of course, we've always had the Olympics, which is fine. That's fun to watch. And usually there's a big time delay because it's in some other part of the world. But there's more and more that's coming our way. So
now we're seeing cuts being made to NOAA, NASA. do you fear that there's going to be an impact on the data and the tools available to you as a meteorologist?
Short term, yes, I do. Once that all started to happen, amazing how many meteorologists, even in the ones in the Weather Service, came to the rush and the aid of these people who were going to be losing their jobs. What we have investigated is that in the next budget, starting September, they are going to double their budget for the Weather Service, but not give it to NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. It's going to go right to the Weather Service so they can get more people, more equipment. And we're in the process of testing out new computer models that are AI driven. And we already have used them with hurricanes, and they're pretty good. So they think the AI models will be even better, but you need people to operate that. And I know the Weather Service in Marquette lost a lot of people. Grand Rapids, which handles Jackson County, they don't post anything social after 5 o'clock. They just have the bodies for it. We saw it with all the severe weather. They're just all tied up with it because you don't have as many people. But in talking with them and other people, it sounds like in September, we'll get that going the other way. But hopefully we don't have a real bad summer, because then those folks are needed. They're needed.
That's good news to hear. Well, in the meantime, if you're interested in going with Andy to Tuscany in Italy, and it's 9 days, guided vacation, Italian Riviera.
It's fun.
You'll be there to do the guiding. So visit the website or Andy's social media for details.
Thank you.
And send some pictures back.
Oh, for sure. It's so much fun.
Great to see you. Thanks.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Be sure and watch Andy on Channel 10 for 43 years forecasting Jackson's weather from Storm Team 10, Andy Provenzano. Stay